So this was a video about the step-by-step procedure for higher education in the US. Hello everyone, welcome back to Shrish Akanksha Vlogs. So today is not a daily lifestyle video or a travel video that we do every often, but we are starting a new segment from today which will be more of visa related questions, higher education in the US, GRE, TOEFL, shortlisting universities and all such things. So for those of you who are new to our channel, first let us introduce ourselves. So I am Akanksha.
And I am Shrish.
And we have done masters from Colorado State University in Computer Information Systems. And we both are working in the IT industry right now. We graduated in 2018. And right now we are just working, we make vlogs also. So yeah, that is about ourselves.
So let's continue.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do today?
So in today's video, we will be talking to you about a detailed step-by-step procedure that you need to follow if you wanted to pursue masters in USA. So let's start today's video. So whenever you think about coming to the States for doing masters, the very first thing that you need to do is you should start preparing for GRE or GMAT exams. So we can make a full video about how to prepare for GRE, what is the exam format, what are the tips and tricks that you should follow, and what are some of the books that you should refer. But for now, let me give you a brief overview of how GRE is and what should be the timeline that you should take the exam on. So firstly, GRE is an exam that you have to take if you plan to do your masters from the US. And if you plan to do MBA, then you should go for GMAT. So GRE is an exam that consists of three main parts. The first one is the quantitative aptitude, which is related to maths. Then the next comes is the verbal ability section, and the third part is your essay writing. So the first two part combines to form a score of 340 in total, and the next part, which is the essay writing, is another section which is scored out of 6 points. So 6 is the total point of the essay writing section, but you can get like anything from 2 to 3 or 5 or maybe 6 also. So for GRE, 340 is the total score and the minimum score that you get is 290. But you should aim for as higher as possible. So 310, 320 and so on is a good score to get admission in some of the best universities and also to get funding and scholarship. So, but if you plan to join your fall session next year, which is in August, then at least by July this year you should be taking your GRE at max. So by July, August you should be done with your GRE exam so that you can join 1 year later in the fall session, which is August. One more thing about GRE or GMAT is there are 2 free tests available online on the ETS website. So I would recommend that before taking the final exam, you should take those 2 tests because they are very much similar to what your actual GRE will be.
So after taking the GRE exam, the next thing comes into picture is shortlisting the universities. And this is one of the tedious tasks and you need to focus on this. And about the GRE score, so once you give the GRE exam, you get the scores right away. Like you finish the exam and you have the score out of like 340. So how do we shortlist the universities? The first thing is you have to keep in mind, figure out some universities where you want to go and try to research on that. Like go to their official website to see what courses they offer and what are the GRE scores needed for them for those courses. Do that. And the next thing which can help you is like there's a website called yocket.in. We will leave the link below, where students put down their GRE scores and the university they got in. So you'll kind of get a little bit of rough idea in that. So once you are getting started with this, try to distribute your universities in like 3 different categories. That's like one of them is ambitious, the other is moderate, and the safe one. So the ambitious ones are those which you're like little unsure, which is like little above your score, but there is a chance, like every year it changes, so you stand a chance. So do that. And the next thing is the moderate. Moderate ones are those which from the last year trend you may get there. And the next one are the safe ones. So those are the colleges which for sure I'll be getting admission in one of those safe colleges. And it all depends how many colleges you want to apply on these 3 sections. I did like 5 each. Like I applied almost to 15 colleges, and so you can decide on that.
Alright, so once you are done with your GRE, you have shortlisted your universities, you have a list of your ambitious, moderate and safe universities. Then the next thing which comes into picture is you should prepare for TOEFL, take the exam date and just take the exam, because TOEFL scores takes around 15 days to come. So plan for TOEFL ahead. So basically TOEFL is the test of English as a foreign language. So if any of you who belong to a country where English is not the main language, then you have to take this exam. So basically it is an exam where they test your reading, writing, speaking and listening ability for English language. So other than TOEFL, there is also an exam called IELTS. So IELTS is more famous in Canada. So if you are interested in applying both US and Canada, then IELTS is a good option for you. But for most of the US universities, they go for TOEFL only.
Yeah.
And the total marks of this exam is 120. So 30 marks of each section. So if you want to get a very good university, then 100 is the minimum score.
So the next thing which comes is start getting the documents ready so that you can go ahead and apply to universities. So there's not that big list, but you need to take care of everything which we are going to mention. So the first thing is get your mark sheets ready, the 10th, 12th and whatever undergrad you have done. So that's the first thing. And you also need the transcript ready, so please apply ahead of that, because some universities take like 15 to 20 days to get your transcript ready. So get that done ahead.
So another document that you require is the SOP, which is also called the Statement of Purpose. So that is the very important document for your application process, and it is as important as your GRE and TOEFL scores.
Yeah.
So Statement of Purpose, you should plan ahead, you should start making the SOP ahead in time, because that is something that you have to research about each of your shortlisted university. You have to research about the courses which you are applying to, and the professors, their research areas and everything, because you can't just write one SOP and submit it to all of them.
Yeah.
You have to make separate SOP for each of your university that you are applying to, because when you write an SOP, you have to show them that you are passionate about the course that you are applying to, your previous work experience or your previous undergrad degree aligns to the course that you are thinking of joining. There are many online templates, there are many examples available online for writing an SOP, and again this is a very vast topic, then we can make a separate video just on writing the SOP.
So the next important thing which comes in our list is the LOR, the letter of recommendation. So what is this? So normally when you apply to the university, you need to give them at least 3 letters of recommendation, and that is like your professor, or it can be your manager if you are working, certifying that you are good in that particular course and you are hardworking, just talking good about you and pushing you like, okay, you are a good fit for that college, for that particular course. So you need to get those ready, and at the minimum you need 3 of them. And make sure when you contact your professors and managers for the LOR, let them know that they may receive an email or it can be a phone call just confirming that it's alright. So prepare that, talk to your professors, that's it.
So after this, the next thing that comes is the WES evaluation. So WES is the World Education Services, and it is not required or mandatory for many institutions, but there are many universities out there who require WES evaluation. So basically it is a service where you send your university's mark sheets, whatever undergrad you did in, to them, and they will send you your equivalent out of 4 GPA score, because in America they follow 4 GPA, but in India not all universities follow that system. If your university follows a percentage system or a 10 CGPA or something like that, then your university where you are applying to will require you to do a WES evaluation and get your equivalent out of 4 GPA. So this is something that you have to consider, that whenever you are shortlisting the university, you check all of them and make sure that any of the universities require a WES evaluation or not.
So the next thing which comes into our list is the resume. So you need to prepare no more than 2 pages of a resume, and some places they ask you need only 1 page of resume. So plan ahead, and you have to like put all your thoughts together so that you get put into one resume. I know it's a tough, people end up creating 4 pages, but try to be as precise as possible. And you need to include all your work experiences, your internships, and as well as your current scores of your undergraduate. And don't forget to include some of your extra curriculum, like where you are interested and where you are focusing on, because that also gives a good insight about yourself.
So these are all the documents that you have to prepare beforehand whenever you are starting your application process. So once you are ready with the documents, the first thing that comes into picture is putting your GRE and TOEFL score and sending it to the universities directly. So through the official ETS website where you get your GRE and TOEFL scores, you can send each of the scores to all the respective universities, and that also requires a cost that to send this university the scores directly, but every university has a different cost associated, and the application process is mostly online for many universities, but there may be some universities where you require to send a packet with all the documents by mail. So that is something that you should consider. So for the fall session next year, the application process starts by October. So before October you should have all your documents ready, and then from October onwards you can start your application process. Now once you have applied to all of the universities, then you should keep an eye on your university's official website and keep checking for any scholarship, funding or assistantship forms that may be available online, because there are many times that they have forms where you have to fill it, you have to write some additional essays or anything additional, and then based off of those forms they select students for assistantship or scholarship.
Yes, so like for fall admits, from January onwards you'll start getting the admits, and you need to decide like which college do you want to go finally, and there are like deadlines also, so take care of that. And once you decide that and let the university know that you have accepted the offer, the university may ask you for more details regarding financial. Some ask, some don't ask. If they ask, just send those documents like affidavit, or it can be an income statement or anything like that. So once they take your admit and they approve you for the fall session, they'll create a document which we call it as a I-20, and they'll ship that document to your home address. So that's very important, because many a times if your address changes, then that's a little problem. You need to communicate to the university when you get the approval from them. So keep in mind, like, not to change addresses at the last moment, because you may get some university related documents in your mail.
So once you get your I-20 document, then you should start preparing for your visa. So you have to take appointment. There is another form which is DS-160 that you have to fill, and that is another process for applying for F1 visa. So we can make another video on that if you are interested in. Let us know in the comment section. So this was a video about the step-by-step procedure for higher education in the US. So if you like this video, then do consider subscribing to our channel. Do like the video, share it with your friends and family members whom you think this video is relevant for them. Then do share it with them, and till then keep watching. Bye bye.
Bye bye.